Alrighty, I'm Katie Mina. I'm currently a junior, and this past fall semester, fall of 2010, I studied abroad in Sevilla, Spain, which is in the south of Spain.
Okay, Katie, so what made you decide to go abroad?
When I was a junior in high school, my Spanish class went abroad to Spain for about a week. We went to Madrid, Avila, Toledo, and Salamanca, and I've been studying Spanish since I was in 8th grade. So I went there, and it kind of just solidified that I wanted to study abroad because I saw everything that I'd been learning about in my textbook. And then I came to Marist as a minor, Spanish minor, with a major in radio, TV, film. And then as I was getting ready to go abroad and picking my classes, I wanted to take classes all in Spanish so that I could improve my language and my conversation, just kind of become more fluent. And as I was doing the process of picking my classes, Professor Gogler said to me, "You're going to take all these classes, you might as well just become a double major." So I guess I went abroad to kind of experience Spain again and just to immerse myself in another culture for 3 months and then to improve my language skills.
Okay. What's the first thing you did after you decided that you were going to go abroad? Did you, talk to Professor Gogler or...
I knew coming into college I wanted to go abroad, so that was freshman year. And then junior year, I was last year as a sophomore, I was like, all right, I actually need to apply. And I had to decide whether or not I wanted to go in the fall or the spring. I decided the fall because I'd have an extended summer, and I have a lot of friends that are seniors, so you kind of want to be here for the spring semester and do all those fun end of the year things with them.
Yeah.
So then I went to speak with Jerry Thornton, who is in the abroad office, and I said, I want to go abroad to Spain, but I don't want to go to Madrid. I know we have a program there, but it's too metropolitan for me. I've been there, and I don't want to live there for 3 months. So we looked into it, and a lot of people suggested Sevilla to me, Seville, because it's in the south, it's warm, it's a really popular city. They had classes all in Spanish, and they had classes that I are interested in. I'm a radio, TV, film major, so they had film classes. They had a flamenco class, so about music, so that was just really great. And it's a large enough city that you can fly internationally in and out of it, unlike maybe some other cities where you have to go to Madrid and then go somewhere else.
Okay. And so that kind of answers my next question. It was who helped you decide your program. So Jerry kind of helped you.
Yeah, he's in charge of going abroad in Spain anywhere but Madrid. So he showed me the API website, Academic Programs for International, and he was like, you can go to Granada, Barcelona, Seville. And I was looking, and I just kind of read over it. And I originally wanted to go to Seville because they also had a communications program. So I was going to go there and take all these comm classes taught in Spanish. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, that's really complicated. I should just take culture and history and art classes. But so I still wanted to go to Seville. My second choice was Madrid, but now after going to Spain, I probably would say Granada was my second choice.
Okay. Do you feel like you were prepared when you left?
How prepared can you be? You're really nervous. You get on the plane and you're like, what the hell am I doing? But I felt like there were a lot of questions that were unanswered that would not be answered until I got there. I did not pick my class schedule until I got there. I did not really know. I knew my living situation, but I didn't know what it looked like or who else I'd be living with. I knew I'd be living with a host family. But it turns out I was living with 12 other American girls, some girls that weren't even a part of my program.
Oh, okay.
So they explained to me, you're living with a host family, this is who they are, this is where you're going to be taking classes, this is where your house is located, you're this many minutes from the school. But I feel there was a lot of questions my parents asked, what are you going to do for a cell phone? And I did not know that until I got there. Packing wise and where I was staying and that was all fine, but there was just a lot of things that you didn't know until you got there. But I think that's with anyone going abroad.
How do you think that the abroad office could have done anything particular to help prepare you a little bit more?
Well, I was one of the first people to go to Seville and take classes in Spanish. There are people that have been gone there and went to a different school and took classes in English. So I felt like I was kind of they didn't know a lot about the program I was going to. Which is not their fault. No one had been there before. So Jerry even said to me, you're kind of like the guinea pig. Going and seeing. So I wish there was someone there to be like, hey, this is the area. This is what you can do.
Someone who had been there before.
Yeah, and kind of hold my hand a little bit and guide me more. But I just felt like I kind of was really blind going in there. But they did do, Jerry and the abroad office did do great preparation with, you need to get your visa, you need to get this paperwork, and we had meetings each week. And it was just a lot going on in addition to getting all your classwork done. But they did do a good job getting all the paperwork. I don't think they did enough preparation for living there and actually being there. But they did give us lots of paperwork that talked about that.
So once you get there, what do you think of the classes, especially since they were in Spanish for you? And was there some sort of orientation to kind of help ease your nerves going into it?
When I first got to Spain, we actually all landed in Madrid, and we stayed in Madrid for about 4 days. In addition to like touring Madrid, we had an orientation where we learned about where we're going to be living and what classes we can take and the schedule. We went over the entire calendar for the semester, so we learned when we had excursions with our program. My API included a excursion to Paris for 4 days. So then after we went over that schedule, we got to pick out what classes we wanted to take, and we got to go to, for the first 2 weeks of school, we could like go to any class we wanted and test it out, and by the end of the 2 weeks, we had to let our advisor know which classes we were definitely taking. So after we kind of figured out that schedule, my friends and I started planning when we wanted to go on trips based on that schedule. They also, on that schedule, had day trips. Like, okay, we're going to go to, like, Cordoba for the day. We're going to go to, like, Cadiz. So that was pretty cool because you can kind of see, like, that was really great because that made me feel better. Like, all right, I know what's going on now. Like, I kind of have the semester laid out. For classes, I took classes all in Spanish, but they were with other American students. There were 3 choices. You could have classes in English, classes taught in Spanish with other Americans, or classes taught in Spanish with Spaniards and other Europeans that they knew Spanish, so that was like your only common thing with them. But they weren't bad. I mean, I had one professor that didn't understand that we were Americans, and like he was really rough on us, and it was a flamenco class, so lots of the things were technical, and there were dance moves and stuff like that, and he didn't understand why we thought the class was so difficult. But then once we explained to him, hey, we're Americans, like, this isn't like second nature to us, they understood. And a lot of the times if you were like, hey, I have to miss class because I'm going like to another country for the weekend, they were understanding because they knew that you were there for like the experience and whatnot.
To be abroad.
But the workload wasn't that difficult. I mean, there was reading, I had a film class, we had to watch movies, but and then you had like a big paper for a midterm and then like your final. But I think it wasn't that difficult. I mean, I did well. It was great, though, because the teachers didn't know a word of English. So, like, you had to use your Spanish. So that really helped with my improvement. And my host family didn't speak any English either. So, like, that was, like, at home and at school, I was speaking Spanish. And then with my friends, I was speaking English. Also out in the town, you speak the language.
Right.
But,
so how different, did you have any expectations going into it? How different were your expectations than the real thing?
What was I don't know what I was expecting. I mean, you always hear stories about people when they go abroad and all these, like, great experiences they had. I mean, I went in there thinking, like, I wanted, like, travel. I went there thinking I wanted to go to Ireland and England and Scotland, and I didn't go there. But I don't care that I didn't go there. Well, obviously I care. Like, I want to go there in the future. But when I got there and I started making friends, like, well, we want to go here. And I was like, oh, I didn't even consider going to Morocco. That's Africa? Okay, I'll go. But everyone asks me, like, what was your favorite part of your entire trip? And I say that sitting on the plane, like, right before I landed into Spain. Because it's like, okay, I've been to Spain before, but I've never lived here. Like, I'm, like, living in Europe for 3 months. Who can say they did that? And it's just, like, I didn't know what to expect. And then flying home on the plane, you're thinking back at your trip, like, this completely exceeded all of my expectations.
Right.
But, so, yeah.
So, now to the fun stuff. What was your favorite place to eat out of all? It can be anywhere you traveled.
I don't know.
You can have more than one.
Well, okay. Well, a lot of people go, I went to Spain kind of like not really remembering how the food was. I was thinking it's a lot like Mexican food with like salsa and like tortillas and like beef. It's much more bland than I thought, but it was still really good. I was really impressed with Moroccan food. It had, I love couscous. I'm half Lebanese, so I kind of like know the whole Middle Eastern Arabic thing, and Morocco has a very strong Arabic influence. So they had like couscous, and they had like these sweet potatoes, and had like this like cinnamon sauce, and it was like delicious. Of course, I had escargot in France, which was actually really good. I was pretty impressed with it. And then Italy. The last night I was in Italy, I was like, I'm going to go very traditional, and I had just had plain, like, spaghetti with, like, plain marinara sauce and a glass of red wine, and I was like, this is the best meal I've ever tasted. So, I mean, the whole part of going abroad is to experience new things, so I definitely feel like I did that while traveling and getting a little taste of everything.
Good. Did you have a favorite food that you would definitely recommend anyone going to anywhere you traveled has to try?
I love tortilla española, which is like this egg and potato kind of quiche that you like dip in ketchup. It's really delicious. But there's this restaurant I believe it's in all of Spain, but I know it's definitely in Seville called Cien Montaditos, which means 100 little sandwiches. And the sandwiches are about this big, and it's like €1 for each sandwich. You can get a huge pitcher of beer, cerveza, for €1, and everything is €1 on Wednesdays. And there's one in Miami, actually, and it's like, it's just a really great deal because you get all these cute little sandwiches, and it's there's like it's 100 different sandwiches to choose from, and you can get nachos with it. You get anything to drink. It's just a really great deal, and I don't know, definitely something you should check out. And it's really affordable, especially if you're traveling.
Yeah. What about a favorite place that you went out with your friends, like whether it was at night or?
Well, we tried to go to somewhere different every time we went out in Seville, because we were there and then we'd go traveling and then we'd come back. There was this one club called Alfonso, and I only went there once because it was only open during the summer, and it was like this really great outdoor bar, and I guess a discoteca is what they're called. And that was really great just because it was outside and it was warm, great weather. There was also this place called Buddha. I don't know if that's the actual proper name of it, but everyone just calls it Buddha. And it's 3 floors, and each floor has different music. And that was a lot of fun. And I got to know some guys that they work at this tour group for Americans, and they have excursions for Americans studying abroad. And 2 of the guys that worked there were club promoters, so they'd give you like free drink tickets. Like you get in on like this VIP list and you get free drinks. So it just really worked out well.
Yeah. What about your favorite place that students have to visit if they go anywhere near Seville?
Well, they have to visit. Well, there's obviously La Giralda, which is the bell tower, which is attached to the cathedral, and it is 32 stories, and you can walk up. They're not flights of stairs; they're ramps. So you walk up, and then you go to the top, and you see a complete view of the city. I would definitely recommend going to a flamenco show because Andalusia, which is the region, the south of Spain, flamenco dancing originated in Seville, and like Andalusia region. So I know my family came to visit. We went to this tapas restaurant called T de Triana. We had a great tapas, and we're eating and having a good time, and then all of a sudden at 10:30, this flamenco show starts. And my family and I had no idea that there was a flamenco show, and it was the best show we had ever seen because it was spontaneous and it wasn't choreographed. It was all improv, and there was the music, and people came up from the audience and joined the show. Then the guitar player threw down his guitar and started dancing. It was probably one of the best things I've ever seen, especially because I've been learning flamenco.
Right.
Not the dance, but learning about it and the music. And so I'm just sitting there going, oh my God, this is the best thing. And my parents were so impressed, and they were like, oh my God. So just seeing a flamenco show while eating tapas and drinking sangria, it was definitely something to do. So that's something to eat and then someplace to go. And then the river. There's also a river that runs through Seville, which is absolutely gorgeous. And it's just, people can go kayaking on it. You can go on a boat cruise. So those are definitely some things to check out.
Yeah. What about the place with the best deals for anything? I know you told us that sandwich shop.
Yes,
was
that's really good. I know some people say El Corte Inglés, which is kind of like a mix of Target and Macy's. And that's good if you're don't know where to go buy something because they have lots of things there. But it's kind of expensive a little bit. But they do have a supermarket, and if you want American food, that's a great place to go because they have peanut butter and American cookies Oreos and stuff like that. Clothing wise, I like Blanco. That's pretty affordable. Maybe I got a skirt for €12, which isn't too bad. Stradivarius is really popular, but that's more on the expensive side. Bershka's pretty good for clothing. You can always go really affordable with an American food chain if you want food. But it was good because I liked, when I was kind of feeling homesick, I'd go to McDonald's. But they'd have a burger, a specialty burger, that you would not find in America. When I was there, the California Grill was really popular. It was this burger with this chipotle mayo sauce with bacon on it, and then bacon niblets on top, and it was really good. And you don't have it in America.
Yeah.
So they kind of have American food, but they kind of put their own little Spanish twist on it. And that's affordable as well.